Amy,
The question is cursed.
the question is cursed.
It's fine, it's fine. Hello everyone, welcome to her.exe, presented by the Women in Fast community of IIT. I'm Bhagya.
And I'm Praneepa.
So in this episode, we have Lishni Tilakaratne.
Hey everybody.
Okay. So Lishni, how did you realize your passion towards UX and just design in general?
All right, that's a bit of a long story, but I'll try to make it pretty short. So, I was a little artsy craftsy during my school years as well, but then again, never studied art per se.
Uh-huh.
But then again, since I had it in my DNA, and I chose tech, or rather software engineering, for my future studies, or rather what you call them,
Higher
further
studies.
studies.
Further studies.
Yes,
Yeah.
higher
Higher
studies,
studies.
and joined IIT. Still, yet had no idea whether if tech can even accommodate art in it. Didn't even know what it was when I joined IIT. And during my internship time, one of my supervisors introduced me to UI design. And since he kind of like knew that I am into illustrations, have this, everything in me, he directed me to kind of like go towards user experience design. That's where it began. But then again, at IIT itself, there was, a separate thing going on where IIT exposed me to do one of their murals, currently
Yeah.
available at the common room as well, I hope, still. And there onwards, I kind of like figured my passion. I was introduced to this. I have my background in art and mural design and everything else. And boom, user
Yeah.
experience design. And ever since then, internship onwards to now, it has been a career in somewhat UI industry first and then now in user experience design.
So were you interested in arts per se when you were in school as well? How was your school life back in the day?
No. Like I said, I never learned anything about it. I never studied art per se. But I did join all those, wherever I'm needed, school stuff. We always need somebody who's craftsy,
Yes,
artsy
yeah.
about it. So maybe
Every
during
single
those-
event you need a arts and crafty person
There
to
you
do
go.
the decorations and all of that.
And that too involves a lot of planning to everything
Yes,
else, right?
definitely.
So that's where, and even the mural designs and everything else was where my planning and, management skills also came into play there, and into user experience, into user experience design, and into where I am right now.
Yeah. So as a really artsy person, what made you choose tech as your field of higher studies?
That could be my parents pushed me into it.
Okay,
so
right.
they kind of like knew tech is the way to go.
So
And
did
then-
you study ICT or like something
Yeah, of
techie?
course. From O levels to A levels
Okay.
to everything, and thereafter IIT for software engineering and industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be like a good lesson to our listeners as well, because I'm pretty sure we have a lot of people in IT who are very artsy but who still want to pursue something in tech. So it's nice to let them know that there's a place for them.
I'm
And-
all into like introducing you guys to UX, and there's so much of content out there. But then again, curation is much needed. But yeah, we'll be working on it soon, and we'll have even more content and resources for every person or anyone who wants to join UX. So
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, your murals are kind of famous in IIT. So, and also apparently in many other places in Sri Lanka, I'm not sure if people know that it's you who's the artist behind it, but it's really interesting. It's like a huge talent that I really admire, actually. So, how did you get into murals?
Okay, all right.
I feel like that's a huge part of your story.
It is. It actually is, yeah. And it actually started all at IIT. So
Oh.
in 2015 or so, or maybe even before,
Okay.
IIT's marketing team wanted a mural done for the common room, and our batch was, I think we were in our second year or
So
so.
this was in the Balavath building, right?
Yeah, this is. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
IIT has so many now. Yes,
Yeah, we
this
have
was.
buildings popping up everywhere now.
There you go. It was at the Ramakrishna building, and they gave me a budget, and they were like, we want something for that suits the common room and even the lives of kids. So
how did you like get the confidence to actually go and do a mural?
I had
Because
no
that's-
idea. I had no idea. It's just one of my friends who introduced me to the marketing team because he knew that I can draw. But I had never painted on a wall before. Maybe my, maybe tiny stuff at school,
Yeah.
maybe my bedroom. That's it. That's for fun.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's a huge transition from like
Small papers to
Yeah,
the huge
to a-
wall.
Yeah,
Definitely.
perspective drawing was kind of like wow to me too. I still don't know how it happens.
Still don't know.
I don't know. Even after so many murals, I still don't know how it happens. Perspective drawing is tough, they say, but it happens.
Okay, it happens naturally. It comes naturally to you.
It comes naturally to you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. So IIT gave me the first opportunity. Gathered the entire batch. Not entire batch, of course. Everyone, everyone who wants to feel involved and wants to get involved, and we drew that. So every person's interest what was put on that wall. That's why you can see so many, from anime to Formula One cars to Assassin's Creed to so
Yeah.
much. Everyone pitched in. Everyone wanted their ideas, and I had to make it one artwork and then put it up there. There are so many videos also of that as well. And right after that came an art competition, which I had no idea that it was supposed to be a wall mural. They just asked us to submit
Oh, okay.
a painting. That was for Cinnamon Red. And won it. And they gave us all the paint and everything that we needed. And we were given one whole massive 4-meter wall. No, maybe even more. I don't know. I can't remember. So the entire car park has 7 floors at Cinnamon Red. So
Yeah.
each floor was given to an artist who was chosen out of the competition.
Wow.
And given the paint and resources and everything else that we needed, and we were asked to paint. It's still there. And that kind of like boomed. So Cinnamon knew a bunch of us can draw, and then we got so much of exposure into more brands. Jetwing called us for even more hotel interiors to whatever they are. Advertisements to everything. So IIT life was pretty fun. It was painting, coursework, and
As it
research
is.
going on, and also working, and that was like
So it was
a
just a
lot.
bunch of IIT students going around painting walls.
Yeah, they were all my friends. Yes, and so many friends helped me with all of those projects,
Oh,
and yeah, my parents also helped me.
yeah.
I mean, it's
obviously.
pretty weird, right? A girl going out
Yeah.
to paint to
Yeah.
construction sites.
Yes.
Exactly,
Freaking
because
weird.
most of those places are still under construction.
Yes, it was tough. As in, my day job, even during internship, my day job was 9 to 5. And then soon after 5, I run to the mural. And then till around, 2, 3 a.m. in the construction site. Oh.
So what did your co-workers think about this hobby of yours?
They thought it was wow, but then again, it was very unhealthy.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
That's when, after so much, and then Shangri-La eventually called. So it's all of these hotel brands that I've catered to, and majority of them hotel interiors, and also public murals as well, like the one at One Golf Face
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Adventure Zone to everything else. Of course, Adventure Zone, I have to give credit to Malit. That was my co-designer. I have to give credit. He was the mastermind behind the entire planning and everything. The execution of the project itself is not just, just go paint. It's sometimes they just give us the 3D model, the sketch, the spec, and then we paint exactly according to that with the exact Pantone colors and everything else.
Okay.
So it's managing a team for like 6 months of artists, and then you have to go paint an entire 9,000 square feet thing. That was for One Golf Face Adventure Zone. And that's where I actually thought, I am done with this. This is enough. This is taking a toll on my health as well. But then again, I still do little paintings and murals. It's what actually keeps me alive. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, not everyone are mural artists.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone can say that they've
They've
painted
painted
one
one
wall
of
face
it.
and stuff. So, would you still be interested in doing like commercial murals, or is that a full stop on that?
Oh, commercial murals are a full stop. My God. It was a lot.
That's
So,
probably really stressful as well, right? Because
It
you
is.
have you probably have a deadline or like a set
Yes.
time period that you have to finish it.
yes. And unlike, rather just like software projects, when we hand over things from design phase to this phase to the development and so and so and so. Construction projects too had the same thing. So yeah, it's right after we finish a certain area, the turf has to be put on, something like that. And then we can't access that area. And if it's partially done, there's no going back. You know, stuff like that. So commercial projects, no. But yeah, little bedrooms for my friends and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, going back to your career or like your internship experience, how was that like? Like obviously it must have been difficult to juggle with your nighttime mural activities and everything. But how was the technical aspect for someone who is just first stepping in to the internship experience?
Internship experience was like the very first time we get into the industry in our third year, right?
Exactly.
So for me, I went as a software engineer as an intern, and but luckily I was actually put into a front end team.
Oh.
I didn't know the difference by then. I had no idea that there were front end separate, back end separate. There are DevOps engineers separate. I knew nothing about this.
Okay.
For me, software engineer, go sit, do your work, come back. So I learned so much through my internship. I had so many mentors, so many supervisors, also from IIT, who were super seniors then. And they actually taught me so much. They gave me so much. Like, it's not... You feel scared, right? When you're supposed to go into your internship, it's pretty scary. You have to go to so many interviews, and then it's a whole roller coaster, right? Yeah.
We still have to go through them.
We'll still have to. We'll see what happens.
Don't be afraid. It's obviously deep water, but then again, it's nice. You get to experience so many challenges that you didn't even know that existed. So much of information in every single day. But yeah, take it all in. And I think, you guys are good to go. It's just that you're being afraid without knowing what it is. So yeah,
we don't know anything.
It's kind of like a blank picture for you guys. So you don't know what to expect. But trust me, it's nice.
Sure.
Go ahead. So you mentioned you started out as an intern, as a software engineering intern.
Yeah.
But now you're a UX designer.
Yes.
So what was the point of transition and what was that like?
Okay. It was very slow and gradual because it was a lot of self-learning. Because user experience wasn't a thing that was out there. Well, it was, but then again wasn't taught and, spoon-fed to us. And the resources we have today weren't really available during that time,
And
2015.
It was not like a booming thing back then.
Yeah. It was all tech.
Tech.
Only.
Right.
User experience wasn't a thing that was focused on, but then again, there were people, of course, there are tech giants who were focusing on that time, but during where I was placed, it wasn't. But then again, it was so much of self-learning and exploring while being a software engineer because I had this interest, right? I was interested in front-end development and then into who designs all of these? Is there a design process for this, or is it coded right there? And then I had to learn more on what it was, explore on my own, find resources on my own, and slowly learning WordPress and then moving into, a BA role as well in the middle, looking into requirement analysis. So from software engineering, for me, more than the coding part, it was more interesting to solve the problem. We were anyway exposed within our internship to different teams, right? And
so you got to sort of experience all of those roles and see what it is really about.
Yeah. And in particular, the BA role was very interesting for me. And then I did have kind of an interest towards user experience design. But then went back to university, did the research, then out. And then again, kind of wearing many hats, I fell into a creative designer role. And then from that, so when it's a startup, you wear multiple hats, right? Even though I was the creative designer and handling all of that, while the mural projects were also going, I had a lot on my plate with, planning projects, delivering to clients, being client focused and client facing for the startup, and even gathering the requirements, passing them into the development team. QAs have problems, sort it out with them. It was kind of like an overall many hats kind of period. But then again, I learned so much during all of that. And through that into another company where I was solely the user interface designer. And yet I still got, it was also a startup.
So how was that experience like?
From kind of like, for me, from moving in from a little team to another little team was all right. It was nice because there too, I had to do the very same things.
Okay.
Like, even though I was the user interface designer, I was exposed to more of client-facing things to do, right? I'm trying to dim this down into like very tiny things without using massive words and all that, and I'm finding this very tough. But regardless, transition into that team was also pretty, I would say, seamless. I had to do the very same things, but then again, I learned so much more from the technical team, like how the developers didn't really understand the client's requirement, and how I had to talk to the client to understand even more about what he or she is trying to say. Because sometimes they bring the problem and our developers trying to address it, but that's not the sole problem that we have to solve. So
Sometimes the client even doesn't know this is the problem that they're actually having.
Exactly. That was where I was very first exposed to kind of like, dealing with clients in a very personal level to the project kind of way. And they were very happy with it. And there were processes introduced even within that tiny team, right? And then moving on, also again, still mentioning the mural projects running, and during which one golf face also might have happened during this time. And I should mention that now I had a lot on my plate, right? But each of these workplaces actually catered to my talent. All of these. Like my supervisors catered to me, and they kind of like, they were very helpful in such a way that they encouraged me, not like slacking out of work or anything. It's like whatever I did, they pushed me to do more. All of my supervisors, who are also gentlemen, by the way. Should mention that.
I think that is something for our listeners, because most of us are really like afraid of what we might encounter when we go into the industry.
It's a lot of myth. It's a lot of myth. The industry is very helpful. So I think IT as a whole is the only industry where we have things like Stack Overflow, where you can go ask the shit that you don't know, and then
for free.
Exactly. And it's the same even UX design. The entire community is ready to help. That's why all of us, whatever we learn, we put out resources for all of you to learn, right?
Yeah.
So make use of that.
That's actually quite wholesome.
It is wholesome. Yes,
is.
I find it very wholesome too.
Yeah. And okay, so small question. You mentioned how much work you had on your plate when you were working. So how do you manage your work-life balance, and how do you manage your time?
If I say I'm still learning that, would it be the right answer?
I feel like everybody's learning that at every stage
stage of their life. Yes.
Because usually people always say, oh, I have so much work to do, I'm so busy. But the fact that you did all of that while doing a whole mural stuff on the side, it's just, I just really want to know how you did that. How did you sleep? Did you sleep?
Did I sleep? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Maybe from 4 to 7 a.m. for many days. See, this is why I told you it was very unhealthy, that life.
Because back then, work from home was not even a thing. No one would have even heard of work from home.
Yeah,
so
you
you
have
don't
to be
have the
present at
option to
office.
sleep till 9 and wake up and go for the first call or anything.
Yeah, in your pajamas.
Yes.
The privilege you guys have right now. I'm so jealous. Yes, it was very, very difficult, I would say. But then again, you see, I was doing something that I was in love with, right?
Yeah.
Painting is like something... Okay, earlier, when I take my friends for these mural stuff, when they were not so commercial and they were bedrooms and stuff and so and so. So my friends would come with me saying that they are going to help me. But they chill in the place where we were, painting. And they would always ask, we are having so much fun here. I know it's like a client's bedroom and whatnot, and you are painting. What are you doing? Like, you don't want to get involved with the snacks, with this? And I'm all in my zen. Yes, in my zen. But yeah, I am still learning to manage time.
Yeah.
And it's only very recently that actually my current boss told me that I should be very, very... I should be more concerned about my health because, even they kind of like...
I think that's something a lot of people forget. Mostly like in their younger years, we feel like we don't really need to be worried about that.
Yeah.
But then it becomes an actual problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does.
We don't care about it until it actually becomes a problem. But then could be too late.
And also, it's not just physical health.
Yes,
I feel like
definitely.
mental health
Too. Yeah.
as well. Especially for someone who's working in design, I feel like mental health is really like you need to have your creative flow going.
It does. Yeah, that's exactly why. So one of the main reasons for me to kind of like let go of my mural side of things was because I couldn't give my all to say what I was doing. I'm tired, right? I'm not giving my 100%. I'm physically exhausted. So I actually I wanted to give my all, and I still love what I do. User experience design is something that I literally love what I do. So I think that's what kept me going as well, because both of the things that I do doesn't exactly feel like work. It's part of what I do, who I am.
Yeah. But obviously your current work life is also pretty hectic. So what do you do to like keep your creative flow going?
Since very recently, I know this is you guys wouldn't even believe this if I said it right now, but meditation helps.
Oh, okay.
I know, I told you, you guys went out, but
I was like leaning to
like, what is it?
what
What
is
is she going to say? I actually take a lot of time for myself. And usually it's to go to somewhere that's nature involved. Yeah. So usually I take once in 3 months-ish, my husband and I, we take a bike trip to somewhere very remote, and then we spend some time, and we travel all around Sri Lanka on Royal Enfields. So yeah.
I feel like that time to unwind is pretty necessary.
It is. It's very necessary. So yeah.
Okay, so what would you say the UX industry is looking like for a beginner who's just starting out?
Okay. For a beginner who's starting out, there's so many resources available for you to learn, unlike how we had to learn before. So there are so many other communities that you can join as well to even get an understanding of what you are supposed to do. Like understanding processes, knowing the theory is one thing. And for that, of course, resources will help.
Yeah.
But for you to get into the industry, there are certain soft skills that you need as well, right?
Definitely.
And for those, there are mentorship programs. There are so many different communities that you can join to understand the different soft skills that you need to be a thriving UX designer, even while you're a beginner, right? So the industry itself has so much of opportunity because right now a majority of the products, tech is tech, right?
Yeah.
You can get it everywhere. But for your product to be loved by a consumer, it has to be in the topmost user experience. That's the way to win right now. It's not the tech. The user does not see the tech.
Yeah.
And however wowifying and all that you do into the tech, yes, the tech geeks would understand, but the user would definitely see the interface that they involve with and the experience that they get out of the product. So for user experience itself, there's a bigger standard than before as well. So therefore, as a beginner, you need to match the standard.
Right.
And
It would be rather different from how you, when it
Yeah.
was like when you started in the industry and like
Yes.
the requirements that a person would have to fulfill when they're going into
That
the
is
industry right now.
Yes, that is correct.
So, okay, can we touch on the part where you mentioned soft skills? Because I feel like, especially for our listeners, it's really important to know how they have to develop and what kind of soft skills they have to develop. Because obviously the hard skills, the tech related skills, everybody knows that you have to know them to get
And you have plenty of resources to
Exactly.
sort of gather that requirement.
yeah.
But when it comes to soft skills, that is something that you have to build with time.
Exactly, it's a bit tricky.
And through experience, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So how
Yes.
important do you think soft skills are in the industry? Not just in UX, obviously.
In the industry itself,
Itself,
yes. Okay, so talking about soft skills, one of the main things is that within the industry, we work as teams, right? It's not single people or single man jobs that we do. So collaboration itself and working with a team with different ideas and opinions, different upbringings, different cultures, like you can expand, right? So first start working with the Sri Lankan team, understand it, all that and all that. Then you are merged with client teams from different cultures. They have different nuances and so much going on in them.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to be empathetic. One, as UX designers,
designer.
yes, you have to have empathy in you. But regardless, within the entire industry, you need to be able to work together and collaborate with teams. And therefore, you should be empathetic and you should have that disciplines, those attitudes, rather, that you need to work with the team, along with communication, one of the main skills. So,
Communication is the key.
yes, communication is the key, regardless of industry. Communication is key. Industry, as in by which I mean UX, tech, so and so. So you need to be able to now forget about talking to clients kind of communication. Just talking about your idea to a team, talking about your problem, talking about the risk that you foresee to your stakeholders. Stakeholders by which I mean development team, PMs, BAs, management, who knows, everybody.
Because you have to communicate it in a way that it doesn't offend anyone.
Offend is one. Communicate the wrong idea.
Yeah.
Going to a different track. Understanding that the entire team is in one page.
Yeah.
You know, so many different aspects of things, right? So communication is one of the main and one of the important skills that you need to develop as whatever you are within the IT industry. So yeah, those two I think are the most important, I guess. And then there's of course more, like I can go into so much more. You need to have integrity within you. You need
I mean,
to.
yeah, obviously that's I feel like that's not just in the tech industry. It's just
Everywhere, yes.
in any career. Yeah. So UX is it an industry where everything is like everything gets updated like constantly?
Yes.
How do you keep up with all this new stuff? Like,
It's through a lot of reading. You see my thick
Constantly.
glasses? No, I'm kidding. It's actually, I spend a lot of time on self-learning as well, like to keep up. It's now, earlier it was technical stuff, but now there are more interesting things that you start to read when you actually want to self-learn, right?
Yeah.
It's about the newer the challenge is to you, and the more you have to research about it to get it done. So
Yeah.
for me, one example was, for me, team building was new. All right. So recruitment is different. Then you have leading the team, and then you have mentoring the team and everything else. For me, that was totally new to me. I didn't know how to mentor a team. Yeah, true. I might have had some part of it in my blood. But then again, for me to know the different types of management skills, different type of, certain things. This I learnt only by reading multiple articles, different opinions, different experiences. People share them, right? Free resources.
So you read about leadership, basically.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean,
That's not-
that
that's-
is not something that people
Most
teach
people-
you about.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to sort of build
get
it.
into it. So my point actually was, now regardless of what you read then and there, when you advance with your career, the more you get to read.
Yeah.
right? You need to be given guidance at a point, like pinpoint then make to solve this, you need to understand the rest. Exactly how we learn different languages as well, right? Coding languages
Yeah.
to business theories to processes, everything. Yeah, that's how.
So, what advice would you have for women who would like to get into tech?
I know there are so many myths surrounding this, like, the whole tech engineering industry is all dominated by men and so, but in my experience, I should say that I've been thriving in this industry because of so much of help that I got, as in when it comes to technicalities and learning them, understanding them, to the transfer of experience while just talking over coffee. So it can be a colleague, a mentor, a senior, whoever it is. Everyone, one thing that's very common in this industry is that they're willing to help, regardless of where you start. You're a beginner, even a senior can be completely okay with it, because there are tech leads coming and asking me, Mehemai Lishni, now this thing, I see something wrong, but I don't know what's wrong. Can you help me out? I'm this little person here. All right. And then it's completely fine. And it's not an industry that looks down upon you if you don't know something. It would always help. Everyone's willing to help. That's like the best part about this.
That's quite the assurance.
I know. And I don't think, in my life, I've not met a person who I asked a question and they were like, I know this, but I can't teach you. Never, ever. So they've always been willing to help, and there's so much of resources. I can't, stress more about it. There's so many free shit available out there. And you should make use of it. And don't be afraid. There are so many myths. In our third year, we were told by our seniors that we would actually have to make tea for our supervisors. I don't know whether that was passed down to you guys also, but ever since COVID, maybe it didn't happen. I don't know. But we were traumatized like that. It was never like that. I mean, if it ever happened, we would gladly make tea for them. No, it's not like that. There are so many myths surrounding this industry, but everyone's helpful. If you are willing to ask for help.
I think that's the main point.
That's one main point. You should know when and how to ask for help. And you will get it. And everyone wants you to succeed. Well, I want my team to succeed. Everyone has to become better than me. No, I'm just kidding. Like, everyone has to become way better than whatever you can reach. Like the greatest designers is what I want to create.